Okay, circles. A circle is the set of all points in the plane that are equidistant. So the same distance from a point called the center. All right, so here's our equation of a circle. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So our center is at h comma k. And r units is the radius. So we have r squared, so we're going to take the square root in order to find the radius. The graph of x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared is the graph of x squared plus y squared equals r squared, translated h units to the right, or left if it's negative, and k units up or down if it's negative. So h and k just move my graph. H moves my graph left and right from the origin. K moves my graph up and down from the origin. Okay, so the first one says, write an equation for a circle with the center at -4, +2, and a radius of 8 units. Okay, well, they gave us h and k, and the radius r. Okay, so we're going to fill in a 3. So x minus a -4 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 8 squared. All right, let's just clean that guy up a little bit. Minus and minus becomes a plus. Y minus 2 squared, and then 8 squared is 64. Notice that this guy was a -4, and we put him into a parenthesis with a variable, so we flip a sign. This guy was a +2, we put him into a parenthesis with a variable, flip a sign. All right, number 2. So let's write an equation for a circle if the center is at 2, 3, and the point on the circle is 1, 5. The problem is they didn't give us the radius. So the first thing we need to do is find the radius. And in order to find the radius, we're going to use the distance formula. So the radius is equal to difference of the x's, 1 minus 2 squared plus 5 minus 3 squared. 1 minus 2 is a -1 squared plus 5 minus 3 is 2 squared. So that's the square root of 1 plus 4. So the radius is √5. Okay, again, they gave us the center, so h and k. So write our equation. X minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals √5 squared. And when you square √5, it just becomes 5. So x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 5. All right, number 3. So find the center and the radius of the circle that has the equation x minus 4 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 9. Then graph the circle. Okay, so we need our center. Now we're taking it out of a parenthesis with a variable, so again, we're going to flip its sign. So it's -4, so my center is going to be at +4, +1, so that's going to be a -1. So my center is at 4, -1, and my radius then is the square root of 9, which is 3. Okay, so when I go to graph this guy, I'm going to go to +4, 2, 3, 4, -1. And then I'm just going to go to 3, up, left, down, and right. 3 units, 1, 2, 3 units to the up, 1, 2, 3 units left, 1, 2, 3 units down, 1, 2, 3 units to the right, and then I'm going to give it a curved shape. Okay, well, that guy was in the nice, pretty form that I like it, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. But what happens here in number 4 when it's not actually in that form? When it's not in that form, we're going to have to complete the square to put it in that form. So I'm going to put the x's together. X squared plus 6x. I'm going to add in a box so I can complete the square. Now, with the y, I don't have a plain old y term. So this guy's y squared, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that guy in here in a second. Plus 7, move that guy to the other side, and then add in my box. Okay, remember the formula for finding out what goes in the box. B divided by 2 and squared. 6 divided by 2 squared. 3 squared. So I'm going to put a 9 in each one of my boxes. Alright, we're forcing this guy to factor. X plus 3 squared. That's how that guy factors. X plus 3, x plus 3. Plus, I don't have to complete the square with this guy. I can just put a 0 in. Okay, so my center is at -3, 0. And my radius is the square root of 16, which is 4. So -3, 1, 2, 3, 0. Gonna go 4 in every direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, not a bad circle. All right. Number 5 says the center and the radius of the circle. Find the center and the radius of the circle. X squared plus y squared plus 2x plus 4y equals 9. Okay. This time we have a x term and a y term, so we're going to have to complete the square twice. All right. So I'm going to group things together. X squared plus 2x plus a box plus y squared plus 4y. And now I'm going to use a different shape. We're completing the square, but those numbers may not be the same. So I'm going to use a triangle. Equals 9. I added a box to the left side, so I need to add a box to the right side. I added a triangle to the left side, so I need to add a triangle to the right side. Okay. In order to figure out what goes in this box, I'm going to use the 2. Okay. 2 divided by 2. Square it. 1 squared is 1. So each one of my boxes is a 1. In order to figure out the triangle, same thing, but now I'm going to use the 4 divided by 2 squared. So 2 squared, which is 4. So my triangles are 4, and my boxes are 1. Okay, so that's why we use 2 different shapes, because they could be 2 different numbers. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're different. All right, we're forcing it to factor. X plus 1 squared. The number was before you squared. Plus y plus 2 squared equals 9 plus 1 is 10 plus 4 is 14. Okay, so my center is at -1, -2. My radius technically is the square root of 14. That's my exact radius, root 14. However, when I go to graph it, -1, -2, the square root of 14 is approximately 3.74. So when I graph it, you can use the decimal approximation. All right, so not all the way to 4. 1, 2, 3, not all the way to 4. 1, 2, 3, not all the way to 4. 1, 2, 3, not all the way to 4. 1, 2, 3, not all the way to 4. All right, last thing, semicircles. The semicircle is a half circle formed by cutting the circle into 2 halves. We can cut our circle in half horizontally or vertically. All right? So if we look at our original form of a circle centered at the origin, x squared plus y squared equals r squared, and I want to solve this guy for y, then I would subtract x squared. So y squared equals r squared minus x squared. Well, again, I want to solve it completely for y, so I'm going to take a square root. And remember, when I'm the one that takes the square root, I have to have a plus or a minus. Okay, so if it's the positive half, then we're going to get the top half of a circle. If it's a negative, then we're going to get the bottom half of a circle. Okay, so the equation of a semicircle is y equals plus or minus r squared minus x squared, square root of that. The plus gives you the top half of the circle, the minus gives you the bottom half. All right, so it says graph the semicircle, y equals the square root of 16 minus x squared. Well, remember that r is still my radius. So my radius is the square root of 16, which is 4. And I don't have a negative out front, this guy's positive. So I'm centered at the origin, and I'm going to go 4 in each direction. Ooh, he's a little pointy, but there's my semicircle. You can also put these guys into your calculator. So I can put this guy in as y equals the square root of 16 minus x squared. And you'll see the top half of a circle. Again, if you have a negative out front, let me put a negative just so you can see it. You would have the bottom half of the circle. And that circle